one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. Just gotta mean something, you. They gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Yo, Thanksgiving right around the corner. I know some of you fat fucks can't wait. Now I'm just playing. Chill out. I did not mean that. All right? Cause you throw some mashed potatoes in front of the kid, my fat ass gonna be all over it. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. I am your host, Saint. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I do appreciate you for that. I hope you had a dope day, dope afternoon, dope night. You see how I slowed down to say afternoon before night. It's a consistent fuck up I have on this show. It ain't that serious, but you know. I appreciate y'all for joining me, man. We got a lot to talk about. What did Saint get right so far? What has Saint gotten wrong so far? But before we get into any of that, we got to talk about the Steelers, bro. We got to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We actually got to talk about the Steelers and the Colts, but we'll get to the Colts in a couple. We got to talk about the Steelers. They just released or fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Now, I saw a report that said they haven't fired a coach in season since like 1990 something. It probably was later than that. So that's crazy. So congratulations to you, Matt Canada, for breaking a trend that was like a century old, it felt like. But nonetheless, let's talk about Matt Canada. Did he deserve to be fired? Listen, I'm not finna sit here and tell you Matt Canada was a great OC. But okay, so this is a tricky one because the Steelers, to me, Matt Canada wasn't the only issue. And I don't even know how big of an issue Matt Canada truly was, to be honest with you. So if you're a Steeler fan and you watch every single Steeler game, I'm not going to argue with you about you thinking that Matt Canada, because you know what you're seeing. Well, I would imagine most of y'all know what y'all seeing. So I'm not going to argue with you about Matt Canada being terrible or not the greatest OC. But I do want to push back on a couple things because I actually don't think Matt Canada was the biggest problem because it's a couple things that happen right now. I think we starting to confuse the job of an OC and the job of a offensive guru. I'm starting to realize that. OCs are still OCs for a reason. They're great at calling the game. They might be good at calling the game, but most OCs, in my opinion, they work hand in hand with the quarterback. You can't have a bad quarterback and a good OC and expect the OC to just get magic every week. You can't have a good quarterback and a bad OC and expect magic to happen every week. However, I don't think it's a balance at all when it comes to Pittsburgh. I don't think the quarterback good. I don't really think the OC good. However, I think the quarterback is worse than the OC. But I'll get to that in a minute. In my opinion, when you look at the Steelers, I understand. See, one of my things with Lamar was you can't have a talent like Lamar Jackson and continue to hold him back with an OC like Greg Roman. That's ran its course. I don't know if that's the same thing over here in Pittsburgh because I don't think Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback. I said that last year. I think a lot of things around Kenny Pickett help him get that record that he got so far in the league. And I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and argue with you, quarterback wins is not a quarterback stat. Wins is not a bro. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't, bro. You have to watch games and have context with some of these things. All right. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that wins are not a quarterback stat because they are in times. And sometimes they aren't. It's a team thing at times. But for the most part, a great quarterback leads you to way more wins than not. So it just is what it is. In the case of Kenny Pickett, I just don't see what some people saw going into this season. I saw how people talked about Kenny Pickett and the Steelers coming into this season. I saw how they talked about him going into last season. And that's why I continue to say the scapegoat is Matt Canada and not the expectations of the fans or not the real or not being realistic on the part of the fans and the media. Because if y'all was really watching these Steelers games and really breaking these Steelers games down the way they should be broken down, you would see, and I say it every time they play Baltimore, the Steelers play like shit for an entire game. And it's not them that usually win the game. It's the other team that lose it. Drops, teams playing at their worst. This happened a couple years ago when they still had Ben, where they got into the playoffs, but it wasn't necessarily because they were better than the teams they were beating. It was teams was finding ways to lose against the Steelers, and because the Steelers are a great coached organization, they find a way to win those games. I told you last week or a couple weeks before, I don't even know if I can say that they play better in crucial situations. Like, I can't even say if they are a better situational team. Just go look at some of these games and you're like, how in God's name is this other team playing worse than them right now in these moments? But I give credit where credit is due. Mike Tomlin is a great head coach. And the Steelers have clutch, game-changing defenders in the sense of TJ Watt can just completely change a game or end a game. And if you let a game stay close at the end of a game, you best believe TJ Watt is going to make a play to take over. You got the TJ Watts of the world, the Aaron Donalds, the Myles Garretts, the Max Crosbys. These are players who, if you keep a game close, for whatever reason, they will end the game and take it over because you didn't do what you were supposed to do through the duration of the first however many minutes it took to get to this point. We see it all the time. Those great players change games. So shout out to Pittsburgh on having a great player, a generational talent at an important defensive position. Because it's one thing to be a great cornerback. You usually can't go outside of play too much, or that's when bad things happen. TJ Watt can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants to on the field because his position, he don't have to drop back in coverage damn near ever, which is smart. I hate it when coordinators turn players like TJ Watt into cover linebackers or try to make them cover linebackers and blitz. No, TJ Watt should be attacking the quarterback every single play unless he got to stop the run. Other than that, you do not waste this man's greatness by trying to have him go out and cover guys. That's why you go get better cover linebackers for that. When I say that, that's why I appreciate the 3-4 scheme that you run with two middle, what San Francisco run, what Baltimore run. When you got two great middle linebackers or two cover linebackers who can go sideline, horizontal, that's what San Francisco had when they had Navarro. They still run that with Greenlaw and Fred Warner. Shout out to Fred Warner. I think he got tore his ACL last week. So prayers up for him on a speedy recovery. But they also ran that when they had Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. having two linebackers that can play in coverage, drop back in coverage and play and come up and blitz. Why do you think the Ravens having the success they have? Is Patrick Queen the greatest cover linebacker? No. But Roquan Smith is such a generational talent at the middle linebacker position where he can do everything. And they got other guys on the defense who can cover. It make up for it, which is why it's unexplainable. I understand the Ravens lead the league in sacks, but it's unexcusable to me that they don't have a bona fide pass rusher like because they don't have a closer like a Myles Garrett, a TJ Watt, Aaron Donald. And that's why, to me, it's insane if the Ravens don't go into the offseason saying to themselves, bro, we got to do everything in our power to try to make a trade for Aaron Donald. Because to me, it's certain type of players where I don't care what I'm giving up to get them. I don't care about some of the you. For one, when you got Lamar Jackson, bro, you shouldn't be too concerned. Now, I'm not telling you to be cheap. What I'm saying is you can sacrifice in certain areas that don't affect the team as much when you have certain type of players. And the Ravens have a good enough team. I think they should try to go after Aaron Donald. Dead ass. And he the type of player that they go after towards the back end of their careers. The crazy thing is Aaron Donald ain't at the back end of his career. If you put him on a team right now that's competing with other players around him, Aaron Donald will still have more sacks than anybody in the league. He would be in top 5 in sacks. If you put Aaron Donald on this line right now, switch him out with Mebank or that's not my man's name, Meta BK. Switch him out with Meta BK and you put all that talent, because that's the problem right now. Aaron Donald ain't got shit around him. But I digress on that. Back to the Steelers. When you have that type of talent, that generational piece on the defensive side of the ball, that's as clutch as he is. Because it's one thing to be great and to pile up all these sacks throughout the game when it don't really matter much. But to get these strip sacks, to get these big time game changing sacks towards the back end of games where it really hurt other teams, where it put your team in such a key position to win, that's special. And that's why I think TJ Watt is one of the best defensive players in the league in the last decade or so. He a generational defender. There's no question about that. But that's, to me, you could give him more credit for some of these wins than Kenny Pickett. I'm going to be honest with you. To me, one of the things that I think is lacking in the NFL right now is quarterback development. But I think one of the things that's happening when you see the lack of quarterback development, look at the teams that's lacking the development to the quarterbacks. Pittsburgh can't develop a quarterback right now. The Patriots can't develop the quarterback right now. Let me sit on those two teams for a quick second, because I was going to say another team, but then that would take a long dialogue. So let me just sit on these two for a quick second. Plus, the team that I was going to say next haven't been as bad as these two. Look at what both of those teams moved on from. Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, two guys who carried a team or basically didn't need that much coaching behind them for a while, for a long time. So it put you in a position where you didn't have to develop a quarterback. And now you look at these teams. Now they don't know how to develop a quarterback. And I don't even know if it's that they don't know how to develop one as much as ego is not allowing them to take the necessary steps to develop quarterbacks the way they need to be developed. And at first I was more lenient towards that because I'm like, yeah, they did have quarterbacks for a long time, but the game keep evolving, bro. There's other players that's on this team that don't have the type of time that a head coach might have, especially in the positions of a Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. Mac Jones' career has been ruined from New England. The development that he should have got from day one to now has not happened. Kenny Pickett's development has not been nowhere near as bad as the Mac Jones experience over there. Because Mac Jones is just a bad quarterback now. Some of the picks that he go out there and throw on an everyday basis is showing you that the development is just not there no more. Like it's nothing there. He is strictly playing off of whatever talent he had coming out of college up to that point. And that's the same going on with Kenny Pickett. I don't know what the fuck he be saying when he be throwing the ball sometimes. I know that, and you want to know one of the biggest problems, because I'm not finna kill Kenny Pickett and Mac. One of my biggest problems with some of these some of these teams when it comes to developing the quarterback, they automatically throw them in an offense where we're going to run the ball a whole lot and let you dink and dunk to try to not have you make mistakes. We're not going to let you throw the ball down the field, even though we might have weapons in the case of Pittsburgh. We're not going to let you take chances because we want to win a Super Bowl, and the development of you is not as important as us being winning coaches and organizations. That is a problem. Once you done, and that's why I've been saying about the Steelers for a little minute. When you become obsessed with never having a record under 500, You have become satisfied and content with being average. Pittsburgh haven't been a real Super Bowl contending team in damn near a decade. But they've had TJ Watt and other great defenders for about the same amount of time. Why is that? Because ever since they lost AB, ever since they lost all that talent on the offense, they done replenished it in a sense. But it's no develop. And when you really think about it, what they developed AB, but where's the lack of development in these receivers now? How can so many of the receivers on Pittsburgh have big game now and then go quiet the next couple weeks? That's just not on on the players. That's on the development of these players also. And the lack of development in Pittsburgh when it comes to these, I don't think it's just Kenny Pickett that's not developing. I think it's Pittsburgh's whole offense. The offensive line is average every single year. Pittsburgh used to have a phenomenal offensive line. The problem that I'm seeing from Pittsburgh is they are struggling to turn the page. Every single thing they had that had them as a Super Bowl contender a couple years ago, they just cannot seem to flip that page and get to the next version of them being actual great. Not being good because they find ways to beat bad teams or good teams find ways to lose. They have not been a legitimate team that you think about every year go into a game. They can drop 30 on you and they can shut you down defensively. That's not what you think of when you think of the Steelers the last couple years. And look at all because people just point out Matt Canada and Pickett. But tell me what receiver done been developed properly. They have good games here or there, but you can't name one receiver on that. Bro, one of the receivers hadn't had a touchdown since he played with Big Ben up until like a couple weeks ago. I think it was Deontay Johnson. How are you developing receivers when the offense is constantly short plays the whole game? And then when we finally have to throw it deep, then we'll try to throw it deep and get lucky. The running game, the lack of, I know you got Warren playing good now, but where was the development for, I always talk about how Najee Harris haven't been a good running back in my opinion since he came in, but look at him every year. You never saw no development in his run game. You never saw him hit holes better. You never saw him see the field better. You never saw him block better. You never saw him catch out the backfield better. He was basically the same Najee Harris every year. Kenny Pickett done been the same Kenny Pickett basically every year. Hell, I can say the defense get worse every year. The only thing that changed is the fact that TJ Watt continue to get better. I don't know why I said Watt like that. TJ Watt continues to get better every year. The offensive line, they look the same or worse every year. So at some point in time, to me, it can't just be Kenny Pickett or Matt Canada. This offense as a whole is a problem. I don't see the development on this offense, period. And who is that on? Mike Tomlin. Because Mike Tomlin is over this. Now, I'm not advocating for you to fire Mike Tomlin. But the same thing I said about Bill Belichick, I'm saying about Mike Tomlin. At what point in time is it time for them to update their resumes? Mike Tomlin is over this ship. Mike Tomlin, the one who put these head coaches and these positional coaches in position to help the players. And when you look at the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where is the development? Where's the development in the quarterback and the offensive line and the running backs and the receivers and the fullbacks and the blocking? Like, come on. And I get it. Kenny Pickett is not good. But this was my point. You keep accepting in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat. And that's exactly why Pittsburgh is where they are at. I don't understand why you won't sell out to go get a great quarterback, because that would change your fortunes for the long run. I don't know why you don't sell out to develop your quarterback in Kenny Pickett when that would do more for you in the long run than having him dink and dunk his way to try to get victories. When you know for a fact that if you find a way to figure out if he can be the man in the offense early, that'll do far more in the long run than sacrificing a season or two to try to figure out if he can be the man. Peyton Manning, we barely ever talk about his first couple struggles in the league because he became a Hall of Famer, but he wouldn't have done that if he wasn't allowed to be that. You got so many head coaches now that's worried about keeping their jobs or worried about upholding a certain type of legacy and these egos that quarterbacks and players don't have a chance. Kenny Pickett ain't good, but I don't know how good he could have been because the development of quarterbacks and players in Pittsburgh has been garbage as far as the offense. Look at Kyle Shanahan and how he is developing Brock Purdy. Look at the development of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. They caught a rough patch when they wouldn't let go of certain things, but look at how they done got right back to helping him develop as a player with the Todd Monken and all the players around him they done added. Look at how Pat Mahomes was being helped along the beginning of his career. Now, they done hit a rough patch right now, and that's cool. It's not going to always be smooth sailing. The whole career not going to always be gravy. But what's happening in Pittsburgh right now since the end of that great couple years, it's tragic. And ain't nobody really getting on TV talking about it. The only thing I ever hear is Kenny Pickett good enough? Is Matt Canada the problem? Great players make offensive coordinators look better. Great players mixed with a guru makes everybody look better. You can talk, I mean, look at Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Neither one of them take less because both of them is great at their jobs, and we understand that, and they make each other look great. If they had just a good OC and Kenny Pickett was a good player, I think you get more out of this offense right now. But because neither of these two are good, in my opinion, and for Matt Canada, it truly ain't fair because the development on this offense is not just on Matt Canada, even though he is the OC. So you have to know how to put players in different positions to be successful. All these play calls that you call, and this is another problem I have. We getting mad at some of these OCs. You think some of these OCs want to go out there and call some of the plays they call? Or do you think Matt Canada have to call plays that is in the realm of what Kenny Pickett can do and what Mike Tomlin want the offense doing? He still is on a short leash. Matt Canada ain't got full control of this offense like we think he do. He still got to listen to Tomlin. So to me, until it's a cultural shift in Pittsburgh, the next OC you bring in gonna be the same because he coming into Kenny Pickett or to a Mason Rudolph or a Mitchell Trubisky. What do you expect a good offensive coordinator to do with that? And it's so very clear to me right now that aside from all the development that's not happening in Pittsburgh, you also relying on a bad quarterback to find a way to become exponentially better, but you're not even coaching him up to become exponentially better with the play calls and whatnot. How is he building confidence on a weekly basis when he routinely throwing passes that don't even leave 6 yards? Like, come on. So, listen, I'm not arguing that Matt Canada should have been fired. Not doing that. But I also don't think that firing Matt Canada is going to really change much with Pittsburgh right now, because I think it's deeper than Matt Canada. It's bigger than Matt Canada, because Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada wasn't the only problems. The entire offense right now over the last couple of years doesn't look stagnant. Doesn't look like, where is the development? Who is helping these players get better? And is some of these players, should they even be in the positions they in? I told you a couple weeks ago, bro, Patrick Peterson should not be a starter on a defense right now. He is in Pittsburgh. Listen, at some point in time, being a player coach is going to kill Mike Tomlin, because at some point in time, Pittsburgh going to make a decision that they actually want to become a Super Bowl contending team again. And they might think that path is with another head coach. But all I know is right now, to think that the problem going to be solved from getting rid of Matt Canada, I just think that's foolish when you look at Pittsburgh as a whole. I mean, they done been outgained on offense in every game this year, bro. So, I mean, but moving on. Shaquille Leonard, Big Shaq Leonard has been released from the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not going to lie to you. I have not seen much of this. Just ain't been the greatest year for him. Obviously, he was hurt last year. They got a new defensive coordinator. I still think that Shaq got a lot left in the tank if he can get healthy. This would be a phenomenal move for Baltimore. This would be a great pickup signing for Baltimore. To get a player like Shaq who can play the middle of the field, he can play in coverage, he can and you're going to put him with Roquan. Oh my goodness. And he can you could add him as another guy that can get after the quarterback and another guy that the offense have to think about. I think this is a perfect piece to add for the Ravens, especially after you lose Mark Andrews, to boost up your defense. And that's if Shaq is healthy and can play. If he healthy and can play, I think he'll find a role very quick with the Ravens. Look at Kyle Van Noy. Look at Jadeveon Clowney. Listen, y'all just going to have to trust me on this, all right? Just like I trusted y'all with the Steelers, even though I probably was just saying that. Don't hold me to it. You got to trust me when it comes to the Ravens. I told you Kyle Van Noy was going to be a stud when he got there. I didn't lie to you. I told you, I've been telling you Jadeveon Clowney should have been signed by the Ravens like the last 3 off seasons, but you see how good he done been since he got to the Ravens. You saw how I told you that Roquan Smith, before he ever was traded to the Ravens, when they first announced he was going to be traded, I got on here and said, yeah, he going to end up being a Raven because that just makes too much sense. He would fit perfectly with the Ravens. What has he done? Fit like a glove. So what else have I told you? I told you that Patrick Queen's ability to they should move him to a blitzing linebacker because that they will get more out of him that way. They started doing that. What has happened? They done got more out of him. So you got to listen to me when I'm talking about this Ravens, man. I understand what I be seeing from the Ravens. I understand the players that play good on the team and how you could put them in position to be good, even though I'm not the one out there. It's just something about what I'm seeing. Shaquille Griffin. Shaq Leonard would be a great addition, especially if you're giving him reps with Oweh, because Odafe Oweh, I don't care how many games I watch, bro. I think he done had 2 sacks in the last 2 weeks. Whoop-de-fucking-do. With the lack of production he done given you over his first, 3 years, going on 4 years now? Yeah, you could definitely use a proven player like Shaq Leonard. Not to mention, you probably going to sign him for the rest of the season. What do that hurt you, bringing him in for the rest of the season? Now, another team that I could see going after him is Miami. I could see Buffalo. I could definitely see going after him. I would be shocked if Buffalo didn't try to bring him in. What other team could I say? I could see the Texans trying to make a move for him also, because the Texans are a playoff team right now also. So I could see a lot of the playoff teams right now in the AFC trying to make a move to bring him over. Now, if he's smart, he go sign with one of them Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. If the Eagles have a room for him, I hop over there in Philly so quick. If Dallas had room for him, I go to Dallas so quick. Dead ass. But I think my top destinations for him in order from 1 to 5. Number 1 would probably be Buffalo, because I think their urgency for him is greater than any other team. Number 2, I would think is Baltimore, because I just think he would be a great fit in Baltimore and what they would be able to do with him. Mike McDonald's defense would work wonders for Shaquille. Number 3 would probably be the Eagles, if they had room, because that, to me, that's the best team in the NFC. And I think the Eagles is headed back to the Super Bowl, especially if they bring him over. Number 4 to me is Dallas, because I think he would be phenomenal in Dallas if they had room for him, which I do think they have room for him. And number 5 to me would be Houston, because I think he would work wonders in Houston. They would, especially with D'Amico Ryans, they would be able to put him in a position to be successful also. And those are the teams that I think should go after Shaq Leonard. But let's talk about some of the things that Saint got right, Saint got wrong so far on the season. We're probably not going to talk about too many of my wrongs. One of the things that Saint got right, we just talked about, was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I told you what I thought about the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into the season. And listen, the record things don't really matter to me. Like, some of these records is fraudulent, bro. The Steelers is over 500, and that's not a good team. They are exactly what I thought they was going to be coming into the season. They exactly what I thought they would be at this point in the season. So Saint was very much right about that. Saint was very much right about Baltimore. Lamar, if you got Lamar Jackson, bro, you're going to be a good team. He just win double-digit games. Him, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes. It just is what it is. They're going to get you Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts. They're going to get you double-digit wins basically on a yearly basis. Where another part Saint was right. The Philadelphia Eagles, man. I told you. I thought they would just get through this season, and I knew people would have some of the conversations we having about them. But like I said before, when you got to the mountaintop and you didn't necessarily win, it changed you. Last year, they was trying to prove we here. Now you know what the Eagles are. They just casually walking through the season, patiently waiting to get that opportunity to win to try to get to the Super Bowl again. They exactly what Saint thought they was going to be up until this point of the season. Where Saint was absolutely wrong. C.J. Stroud, boy. Did not think C.J. Stroud would be doing what he doing right now. I knew DeMeco would be a good head coach. Did I think he would flip this team as quick as he did? Absolutely not. The praise that I gave the Texans in the offseason had a lot to do with the defense. But boy, oh boy, do they have the quarterback of the franchise, of the future. I was so wrong about the Texans going into this season. And I wasn't even like super down on the Texans, but my goodness, what a flip of the script. You see how having a quarterback just changed everything. Now they have C.J. Stroud, and the whole future for the Texans look bright. It was worth going through those bad years because they made the right decision finally with the quarterback. And now look at it. That's why I said when Deshaun wanted to trade him. Because the quicker you get rid of him is the quicker that you find your next franchise quarterback. And I'm not telling you it's easy to find a quarterback. What I'm telling you is it's hard to put yourself in a position to get that new franchise quarterback when you still have Deshaun Watson on your roster. And now look at you. You feel like your quarterback is better than Deshaun Watson right now. So I was completely wrong about that and that aspect of how good C.J. Stroud would be this quick, but was not wrong when it came to me saying, get rid of Deshaun if he want to go. Where Saint was wrong also, the Cleveland Browns defense. I knew the Cleveland Browns defense would be decent again this year. Did not think they would be as good as they've been. To me, once Cleveland found a way to eliminate giving up that big play every fucking game, where like twice a game they just gave up some ridiculous ass break in coverage and gave up a big play to the offense. Now they done figured out how to stop doing that. And they are far better defense. Another thing Saint was wrong about. The Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals would be god awful. The Cardinals are not the worst team in the NFL. I don't care what their record says. I told you the Cardinals played good football damn near all year. They just didn't have Kyler. And I'm convinced that if they had Kyler, this would be a better team. They competed in every single game. I think they got blown out probably once, and that was the week before Kyler got back because they traded away Josh Dobbs. Other than that, this has been and speaking of another part I was wrong, the Minnesota Vikings. I was right about that actually because they are just, to me, they'll make the playoffs, but they'll lose in the first or second round once again because they are that team that's an average team once again. Once again, just swimming around in mediocrity, bro. It's absolutely sad at this point. Where Saint was right. I'm still right about them Buffalo Bills. I still think, and I'm going to tell you right now, I still think they're going to win their division. I don't think Miami going to win that division. Miami, to me, look like they peaked earlier. Now that they starting to slow down a little bit. But Buffalo not going out and getting DeAndre Hopkins or another weapon to play opposite Diggs, it has hurt them. And I believe it will still hurt them in the long run. Point blank, period. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another I don't know what the fuck that was. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Go out there and give somebody a smile for me, man. Like, subscribe, share. I truly do appreciate all the support. Boy, I appreciate all the support. The Draymond Green video done hit 400 views. More new followers is we added like 3 new subscribers. I appreciate all the new subscribers. I should have said that at the end of the show, but I forgot. I appreciate everybody who comment under the videos now. I truly do appreciate y'all. Y'all just making my day, man. I truly do hope we get to 50 subscribers by December so I can give away that $50 as a Christmas gift to somebody. I'm gonna give it to you on Christmas. I'm gonna ask for your cat. If we at 50 subscribers by Christmas, I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna waste no time. On Christmas Day, I'm gonna have a 50 for you. I'm gonna send it through I hope you got Apple Pay so I can send it through that. But if you ain't got Apple Pay, because I probably don't want to give away my real phone number. I just thought about that. So I'm probably not going to send it through Apple Pay. But we'll figure it out. Just I hope we get to 50 subscribers so I can give away that $50. I know $50 ain't much compared to what a lot of other channels is giving away. But come on now, y'all. Y'all know we a small growing thing. One day we're going to be able to give away $50,000. But we're just not there yet. But $50 is very much being given away when we hit that 50. Now, if we hit 50 subscribers before Christmas, I'm trying to think, am I going to give it away before Christmas, or I'll let the person who win decide when they want it. If they want it on Christmas or before Christmas, I'll let them decide that. But with that being said, again, I appreciate you for joining me. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.